All right, hello everybody. Week 2 of Eternal Super League, and I think we'll have a really interesting week this week. With me on the commentary desk, it's joining for the first time this season, Baron Wu.
That's me. How you doing, all?
Yeah.
World's best commentator.
Yeah, definitely a different commentary style than me. Like, I think you're a bit more of an enjoyer of the off-brand stuff.
So for the stream, we just both heard Andre basically lose it at that comment. I think it would be fair to say, but yeah, I'm
pretty close.
I'm just here to enjoy the jank. You know, that's what I'm here for.
Okay, are you in a position where you still think combo is junk or no? Because that might affect your enjoyment of the stream quite a bit.
Combo Woo is clearly not. I don't think Combo Woo. Basically, the minute the ritual came out, the Combo Woo potential was there, and it was clearly there because it took about 2 days of ritual being out before Warlock was trying to break ritual. It's one of the most hilarious sort of notes of the card, which is like way worse than Diesel in Standard and way better than Diesel in Eternal.
For people who didn't catch first week, I think we will have 5 players on the same combo Wu deck in this week. So going to be interested to see how those games go, if people have been able to adjust. Last week we did see combo Wu kind of take over, and couple of players managing to make a sweep out of it. I think everybody making a sweep on the runner side, if I'm not mistaken. So going to be interesting to see how people are pivoting this week. Sadly, this week we're missing Augustus Caesar, who is taking a break. This format, every week one person gets a break. So it balances out in a solid round-robin format. So no Fast Advance Nebula or Geist this week. But I think we still will have really enjoyable matchups coming up.
Yeah. I mean, it's also going to be particularly interesting because the Wu is doing very well and lots of people are on it, to see the reaction to it. Because in my mind, there are definitely decks out there which would counter it pretty well. No one is playing those decks at the moment or doesn't have the kind of tech in them to do it. So I'm kind of interested in how things go now. I'm fascinated by what happens in a couple of weeks when we get new decks. Should we jump into the first game?
I think we can start jumping in. So I think first round going to be Thoron against Messi. I think Messi, kind of the builder of this Fast Advance Nebula deck that you typically see out of Eternal, and kind of originator of actually putting ice into Nebula remotes, which will start pushing Thoron to go quite a bit faster than Thoron might be happy to go with. And on the runner side, I think the deck kind of doesn't need introductions, because if you look at the stack size, 130 cards, what do you expect to see in there?
Yeah, I mean, this is so we have 5 Woos. Notably, Thoron, it had stuck with the old reliable from last season of World Tree Woo. Again, it turns out when you can search your deck for events, having an incredibly powerful event in there is very, very good. Now, this opening hand is kind of fire because we've got a World Tree already. We've got a sure gamble in hand as well if we need like new credits. And we've got a lily pad, although I assume that you probably want to World Tree that out, but it's not a terrible option. Probably Thoron here sort of setting up with wooing out some coalescences, putting them on the Charizard.
Hey, sorry,
which
real quick, I think this is a week 1 match. This one was mislabeled. Give me 1 second. I'll pull up the right match. But
yeah,
I remember seeing this one before, so give me 1 second.
I was just starting to think about like
this is a good open.
I think I've seen it yet last week.
Okay, give me 1 second, stream. I'm gonna figure this out behind the scenes. All the other ones are right, not this one apparently. Okay, for now.
I'll tell you what. it would be pretty incredible if Toron managed to pull the same opening hand 2 weeks in a row with 135 cards in the hand.
All right, for now,
Okay.
I guess I'll
Okay.
start with this other side of it, and then I'll go back and fix things. So apologies for that. I'm gonna throw myself on mute in shame, but here you guys go.
No worries. Okay, quite a bit different. We see the same idea on the runner side, but this is notably different. We have 45 cards in the deck and a couple really important pieces already in hand. We do see Apocalypse, kind of an important piece, and I think we will see this game end on around turn 3, possibly. If you haven't seen this deck before, tie your seatbelt on.
Yeah, so the most important thing here is that Knight from Chess already has rituals in hand. And essentially, the only holdback which the Wu has is finding the rituals. So the fact that we've already got 2, what Knight from Chess is going to be planning to do here is Wu out Coalescences for money, SMCs to get hyperdrivers, and Leprechaun to put them on, and then have about a 15-click turn where they're going to draw 30 cards with 2 clicks, and then but we see it was Toron, the absolute master of playing like tech. Like, we've seen Toron throw out the wildest tech cards in ESL.
Oh my god!
Here we have it. Turn 1, Cerebral Static. Absolutely wild. Knight from Chess is now in a horrible position.
So Cerebral Static, a current, so it stays around, and it doesn't. It only effect that it does is blanks the runner's ID ability completely, and if your deck is built for your IDs to do every single search, like click on your deck, this just completely turns everything off. Like, yo.
Yeah. I'm not sure if and what current the Woos are
It
playing.
doesn't have any. It just doesn't have any.
So, I would have been tempted to run R&D just to try and snipe an agenda, because right now you need to steal something.
That's the only way you're going to win this. Like, yeah, we're just drawing up, trying to find the pieces normally, and this will take so much longer. This basically means Torrens can do everything here. Like, this game should have ended on turn 3, but we will see so many more turns coming down here.
Yeah, and this is tricky now. Knight from Chess has to now decide what to discard. Chucking out the Illumination, we're chucking out 1 Deep Dive. Equivocation is probably fine. We can get that back with a Simulchip, but we might be forced to Hyperdriver Ritual early just to find some options here. Because otherwise we're notably now pretty stuck for MU. Knight from Chess missing a play last turn as well. Like, really probably a bit shaken here, but could have is that a rigging up in hand that I see? Because if so, could have rigging up the Coalescence for a little bit more money.
Yeah, a bit of extra cash. I don't think it matters. I think Toron just closing up shop here. R&D also getting iced. And this Faust, if this Faust has to break any more ice than it is built to break, it's just, you just run out of combo tools in hand. It's like, oh my god.
You see, I think we needed to pop this Hyperdriver, like, apart from anything, just because we need MU either just to install other Hyperdrivers, all sorts of kind of options here. But
I think the only out that we had was just hoping R&D gives us an agenda on single axis, but that's not happening. Toron just locking up shop here, and this Wu deck just doesn't do anything if you like return the ID ability off.
I mean, this is hilarious because we've never seen Cerebral Static be a card, a relevant card. But right now we are seeing a sort of we're essentially seeing the finals where scarcity of resources got played against Haley, but in a different form. I think we needed to. I don't know what we need to do here. We probably needed to keep that Faust so that we could run in here and steal.
I think we're trying to simulchip it back at some point, but yeah, this just last week we did see the Corp play a Scarcity of Resources against Augustus on turn 1. And this has really similar vibes, but even harsher. This completely shuts the entire deck down.
Yeah, like Knight from Chess finally realizing like they've got to, like, they have another hyperdriver in hand, so they have to just start utilizing this. It looks like they're going for the APOC here.
Yeah, we see a bunch of cards in archives, and otherwise drawing up with ritual. Simulchip can get us.
Simulchip is pretty solid here. We could just go for the APOC and play at least one of the that's we see an Architect.
Architect.
Torren is really well.
Architect
really well.
Architect especially takes against this combo war because Architect has this nifty little line of text where it cannot be trashed, I think, by either player. And APOC just completely turns off on this, which means if you have an Architect on R&D, it can just completely break the Wu deck apart if you don't have take for it. And doesn't look like for Chess has anything here.
Yeah, the interesting thing is, why isn't this Architect on R&D? Which kind of suggests to me that there's probably also an Architect on R&D, but we'll find out, because Torren will know that that's the important server for the Architect to go on. So maybe we see another one. Choosing just to let that fire, which makes kind of sense. We see a Lakshmi in hand.
Okay, there's the Simulchip install, and we're going R&D, and we have an APOC in the hand, and I think the play here is an APOC and a, what's the other card called? And there it is, another copy of. I think SMC will fetch us the Hush this turn.
No, I don't think, because these decks should be on a Hush and they're not on a Hush, and so there's no way of.
I think Hush might be a bit of a later evolution here.
Torren is so well, like this is classic sort of Torren playing the meta. Like Torren notably doesn't necessarily play their decks; they play against the other decks they expect to find. And
I
think that's why they. Sorry, carry on.
No, last week I think somebody, might have been me specifically, on the commentary board said that this deck might fall apart against these Wu decks, but no, Torren doing his homework and just attacking the meta head on.
And like really sort of, they've got this pretty locked up. We see a Tributary on top. We're getting down the Encores, so we're just going for Encores here. So this is interesting. No APOC, I guess the APOC doesn't actually do anything, so that makes sense.
Yeah, no action. And yeah, going for the second Encore. We do have Out of the Ashes in hand. Technically, this R&D coup is not, like, it doesn't end the run. So we might be able to just hammer in R&D runs here.
But you can organize the top of R&D, right? Or am I mistaken? Or is it you?
Can you? No, shot you can.
No, maybe I'm thinking of something else. You can install from,
but you install one from there. And yeah, second eyes on R&D kinda says game over. We can still do Out of the Ashes runs. And Janet is fighting back.
Yeah, I think it's always awkward to have to like pull an undo turn when you've done things like clicking hyperdrivers or playing Reprise, or not Reprise, sorry, the smoke card. Are we just? I wonder what we're doing here.
Yeah, one more turn after this, and we do have 2 copies of Out of the Ashes in the hand. Does mean 2 or 3 runs on R&D could be possible this turn.
Yeah, but we don't have access to medium. Because
Yeah, we don't.
We've used the Simmel chip. We've used the SMC for Hyperdriver. So that play is somewhat off. If Toron also has a single copy of Cyberdex Virus Suite, it's not like you can trash it because it's going to keep getting installed with the Architect. So that's a tricky option.
Yeah, all the outs kind of losing here. Hyperdriver being used, and
I think
then
you now
also
have to
2 copies of Out of Dash.
Yeah, you might now have to win by well, you can't really contest the board. You're on Faust. You're going to have to trash Lakshmi's. It's going to be tricky, very tricky.
I think we're still taking an extra turn here and doing Ritual and Apoc this turn. Still grants us a decent amount of turns here. We have a Conduit in hand. We can start digging somewhat into R&D.
Yeah, and interestingly,
there's one copy of the Deep Dive, which is also an option that kind of clears this situation.
Yeah, Deep Dive. So we could just fully pivot to Deep Dive. There's 3 copies in here, but we know that one's already in the bin. But that's definitely an option. I think, do we have another turn after this? We could certainly get another turn after this, meaning...
I think we have one more turn already, and probably going to play a second one.
Yeah, because we can put down the other Hyperdriver and take a load more clicks on the next turn. Looks like we're going for the Conduit line. See the Tributary.
Conduit being turned into Always, just saving some clicks on the UI side.
Yeah.
And one more
we also, the minute that Tributary gets installed and rezzed, then like Knight from Chess is in a real tricky position. So knows that they can't let this Architect fire because otherwise the Tributary comes on the board. I guess maybe then it gets wiped out with an Apoc, but
Apoc getting discarded here, so we are committing fully to the Deep Dive game plan. Warm Reception in hand doesn't matter. I don't think cards in HQ are kind of pointless to us. And asking for action. No Apoc on the table. Just, I think otherwise you would be really happy to play those, but Architect completely closing that option out. We found an SLS endorsement. This is the 3-pointer that Toron has chosen to play. Just solid 5/3 with an ability that every start of their corporation's turn, you gain 3 credits. Up to 3 times. So
you probably really wanted to see 2 agendas there, but at least that's shuffled the deck. So now we're going to see 2 fresh cards with the Conduit.
Yeah, this time we can't break all of Faust though.
No, it's just firing.
We have one more click.
We have now stolen, so at least Cerebral Static is gone from the board. Not that that's much help to us anymore on the runner side, because we've only got 10 cards left in our stack. Like, we have still managed to draw through most of the deck. Lakshmi on the board now, though, is a problem.
We can start doing Lakshmi out of cards that we have in HQ just to protect cards in R&D.
Yeah.
And I think Lakshmi actually was in the entire turn, so multiple counters could be protecting us for a while.
Yeah, it is. And every time we run through this Architect, we potentially get more stuff to res, meaning that we've got more Lakshmi counters, which is absolutely wild. Okay, we're going again. We're just gonna keep digging here.
Yeah, I think Toron just really missing this one extra copy of Ice on R&D, but issue starting to line up. Knight from Chess doesn't have any other way to break here. And one more copy of the Notoriety. And of the Encore.
Yeah, I mean,
basically the same card.
I would be playing a copy of Notoriety in here. Like that's a card I love. I remember a very early Eternal Arasana build which I built, which basically planned to just deep dive and play 3 Notorieties in a turn, and was fun, but it was like it's a lot of cards to hold in hand.
Yeah, basically a much weaker version of the same deck as we see here.
Yeah.
Scrolling up a bit, trying to figure out how many which round of Encore we are on, and I think just one more turn after this.
I think maybe Toron missing the fact that an Encore got played last turn as well.
Yeah, could be.
Just assuming it was the first 2.
Yeah, Wonders of Janet. Like it's a masterful piece of software that we even get to play Janet online, but it does have its own quirks sometimes.
I mean, when you turn up to a tournament, it's always good to have click trackers so that you can check on your clicks. It's pretty rare that you need turn trackers, but this is the deck where you pull out your second row. Firstly, you need about 15 click trackers, which is a hell of a lot. You sort of borrow them from everyone who's on the same table as you, and then a second row for turn trackers, which is really funny.
Okay, we have figured it out. One more turn after this, and second row is going being played.
That's
the issue here.
Now.
We have 3 credits here. Might be that
but
we
I
don't
think
have
it's
enough.
a gatekeeper. Because
gatekeeper would be so horrible here.
Yeah, the draw is really relevant as well. Getting the agendas into hand when this is a Lakshmi deck is absolutely massive. So we have exactly the right amount to res the gatekeeper, which then causes Knight from chess a whole host of problems.
Yeah, gatekeeper kind of just saying like you're not running this turn, you're not running next turn, and you are not running basically ever.
Yeah, and notably
we reveal vulnerability on it.
Oh my gosh. So Toron is also on Kesselroyd. Like Toron knew it absolutely nailed this meta. Like
it is a gatekeeper.
Absolute genius.
We're not going through that one.
Interestingly, Toron not needing to draw here. I guess like money is a problem. I wonder if you go and trash the working prototype.
Realistically, they cannot get through on R&D, at least for this turn, and even next turn it's looking kind of dicey. And HQ is the one place where agendas can be still in.
Yeah, but there's one agenda in HQ. We know that for absolute certain, but it's very, very safe.
On which is on the table? Still more?
Yeah.
No, not that one.
No,
I think we are also will check server 3 and 4. 3 and 2.
This makes sense. Yeah, checking 2 could be a vulnerability. Nah, it's a Jeeves.
And server 3 also getting checked. Probably not an agenda. Putting that out there just for the laughs would be kind of interesting.
If it's a vulnerability, it's fine.
Yeah, we did see vulnerability audit being like shown in hand at some point. So Knight from chess does have access to 3 points out of just running HQ and forcing the access on there. But we have 4 clicks remaining on this turn, and this will be the last turn on the combo that we will get. So Toron finally being let to play after this 4 clicks are over. And we're just sending it HQ, and Conduit will see a sizable amount of cards.
Yeah, and I think we can break enough. Like I think essentially we just break everything. Because
a notable part of the gatekeeper interaction, there is a really like a whack interaction with Gatekeeper, where even if you let the subroutine fire, where the corp can draw 3 cards and shuffle up to 3 cards back into the deck should be shuffled every single time that happens, even if you shuffle 0 cards in there, because the shuffle somehow counts for different interactions. I don't exactly know, but I think we might not know that. It's like a completely random part of this random format.
Yeah, I mean it's the classic like a forced shuffle is a good option here. But I don't know if we can take I don't know if there's any way of taking advantage.
Oh, there's a
of single
vulnerability.
vulnerability. Oh my gosh!
No!
How did Knight from Chess pull that out?
Oh, that's
Toron short 1 counter on the with the Lakshmi there, which really interestingly, so there was a potential to res a second Spin Doctor that Knight from Chess decided to trash, and I thought it was an odd trash at the time, and it's actually won them this game because if Toron had the 3rd Lakshmi counter there, they surely just spend it because there's no reason not to, just to potentially protect the vulnerability audits. But that was wild. I can't believe Knight from Chess managed to pull that out.
Yeah, sometimes like we just managed to like dig for it, I guess. Ending on turn 6, like normally we take half a few turns, but just managed to hit the agendas from there. And
insane.
It's a card game. There's variance here, I can guess. That's the only way you can like reason to yourself how this ended.
Yeah, but oh wow. I mean that is really like fair play to Knight from Chess for absolutely like persevering in that one. Like it would be very easy to go, you know what, I have lost this. Like you see the Cerebral Static turn 1, you run into 2 Architects, you see a Castleroid on the top. You're like in a position where you just feel like I have no chance, and managing to pull that through was quite the accomplishment. So congratulations, Knight from Chess.
And I think we can switch over to the second half of this matchup. We are not sure on which.
I found it, so we got it. Here we go. Sorry. This is game 2, week 2. Yeah, we're good. Have fun, y'all.
So this time we can see the runner's deck be quite a bit different. So 135 cards in the deck, and we will be fetching one important program, World 3, which also tutors your deck for the exact cards you need. Does mean that Toron can get a huge amounts of consistency, huge amounts of value, and like you can just like start shuffling the deck back with levies just to get more coalescences back in. And you can see the amount of stuff we have in the deck just by Toron clicking the Carbonessa Wu ability.
But one problem here is that we're against Umti, and that is probably not what you want to see as a World Tree deck, because you can never make a perfectly safe run unless that MTI ability has been used this turn. And one of the really nice things that you have as Wu is the ability to sort of pull out something like a Slap Vandal or something might be able to get through the piece of ice which you see. That doesn't work with MTI because the ice isn't on the table yet. So Toron is going to need to sort of, I mean, I'd say make some money the standard way, but it's still Wu doing nonsense with Coalescences and Charizard and things like that. But it's going to have to get a bit of, essentially get a bit of something going before they can even really start like looking at running. But one nice thing for Toron here is that they have an Airblade in hand, which is actually going to be like a bit of a lifesaver in terms of being able to slightly more safely face check the device, which is always wild with MTI.
Yeah, Mati probably one of the best Glacier decks in the format, and this World Trade deck kinda maybe not built to actually beat it sometimes. The World Trade can, or the Woo can set up absolutely amazing board states where it just will outvalue the Mati, but actually getting into that space where you have to constantly be running, interacting with the opponent is tough. Slot machine being raised, and this ice is so broken also. Like, basically every single card we see in the game at this point can be just considered broken. So looking at the top 3 cards of the deck, and that kind of determines the amount of subroutines we actually have to fight on this ice. And 3 different ones means Torrent's just losing 3 credits. And will we see the World Trade come down?
Well, we have to see whether Knight from Chess wants to pull out an empty trigger here or not first, and whether we're continuing. The one thing is that once Toron does get set up, there's a lot of like 5 strength code gates in this deck, and the World Tree is on Yogg and Turbine. Ooh, we see an Anansi.
Anansi being far. That if anybody have seen the copy pasta in servers like GLC, where we talk about Mati and Anansi, this is exactly from there. Mati just pushing an Anansi onto the table, jump scaring the runner. This will be probably 4 damage.
Yeah, I mean, we were very click taxed here because we needed a second click to potentially go back and run a different server if things didn't work out here. But getting the air blades down first might have been really good. But Torrent probably doesn't really mind about losing this hand though, so it's not like this is the worst unless we then hit a Fuji. But this looks very much like a Charlotte to anyone.
Probably
I would imagine.
it's going to be 3 crits for Knight for Chess, and the big part about Anansi is just not the damage. Also, there's also the subroutine where you can reorganize top 5 cards of your deck, which lets the Mati deck get huge amounts of like information on what's coming up, and R&D basically becomes a locked server, whereas there's kind of 0 chance you actually find an agenda in there.
Yeah. Knight from Chess popping the Charlotte. I actually think they might have been able to leave it because
we're going down to 0 credits, I believe, after installing this World Tree, or just one credit from deck there. Brahmin also getting installed. You remember what that one does?
Oh yeah. I mean, this is a card which I spent the entire first year of my Netrunner career playing, and it got a whole lot better now that we have a card called Coalescence. So that's the combo here is going to be Toron breaking ice with Brahmin and putting Coalescences back onto the top of the deck each time, reinstalling them for essentially 0 credits because of Charizard and Woo, and then going ahead and kind of getting stuff back. Here, putting down a Reclaim, probably just to get ourselves a different resource with World Tree. We see another slot machine. That's technically fine for Toron. Is not going to mind 3 credits, like losing 3 credits. Probably doesn't care about that too much.
No problem.
Although
this Brahmin actually also saves the Coalescence.
Yes, but I think we're gonna trash it anyway. So
yeah, looks like that's the option here.
Got Degdo down, so we can start stacking Daemons on Daemons.
Yeah, Toron starting to set up this nice little. I guess we can call it like an orchard. I don't know how to say that word.
Yeah, right. There's our first Daemon on a Daemon on a Daemon. It should result as Daemon. Yeah, it must be. So we're down to tier 3 so far, looking pretty good. Blue Moose in hand, which might get installed. Toron probably wanted to get that off the Reclaim, to be quite honest, but we'll find out what happens there.
Another surprise Anansi.
Yeah, but we could break this. Brahmin actually reasonably effective. Like it's actually a pretty good breaker. Like it's
reasonably effective when we get 4 credits of buyback from the coalescences.
Oh yeah, well then it becomes like pretty good. But as in like breaking two subroutines for 1 credit is good enough. Like, you know, it's not the world's worst breaker. We're getting second Degdir here. Toron knowing that they have to play, they're going to have to build a very greedy board, and that is what they are doing. Essentially, their way out of winning this match is to make all of the ice either 0 or 1 credit to run, so that they can run everything multiple times.
Yeah, World 3 kind of sets up this misery engine at some point, and we are starting to that being assembled piece by piece, and that means Knight from Chess kind of on a clock here. We have to start advancing these agendas, get like, I think really key cards that we might want to see on the table, start hit the table, is stuff like Lacosta, stuff like Managram and Nisei. Caprice Nisei specifically, I think there's a bit too many Nisei cards named Nisei. So Caprice Nisei, stuff that actually protects the remote server really effectively, combined with the Mattia ability, would actually mean that we are able to start scoring these agendas that we want to set up on the score area before World League actually gets the engine set up here.
True, we probably do need something which is a bit more end the runny right now, and we kind of don't have that. You know, like we can just run through all of this ice at the moment. None of it is, Bianazzi's going to hurt a little bit, but none of it's really going to matter too much in terms of actually being able to get in. I'm trying to see here, and I can't see it because it's a long list of cards, but I don't think there is something like a Chromatophores, which would be a really hype sort of late game thing to put on Anansi so that we can break that with Yogg for nothing. That would seem to be pretty cool. Here, the sort of choice tree at every point in every run from Toron, like if you've tried to play this deck, it's not simple. Like there's always options, and you've always got to have an idea of what you're actually doing with those options. What are you selling? What are you pulling? Here you've also got, what are you brahmining? Just to really throw extra sort of wrenches in the works.
Yeah, and like even if this looks kind of like endgame boardy, where like you can set up this like the thing that just breaks the game, everything is listed on 1 copy of Shasharad, and last week we did see the entire thing come falling down after 1 copy of Select-Grow program got played. There are tech cards for this deck in the game, stuff like Best Defense could be an option that we might see if somebody's like has seen that Toron is their opponent on these listed weeks, but not yet on the table. Ola Costa being in the remote to extract exactly what we actually want to see in there. If we can start pushing these agendas out, while Toron is also on 2 credits, even this deck has problems sometimes running through this huge pile of ice. Install Advance, exactly what Knight from Chess wants to do at this point. And even if you have like 15 cards triggers every time you run, you actually have to make those runs first and have them build up.
Yeah, absolutely. Toron here, I think, checking if there's a second Blue Moose, because the money will just keep kind of dripping in, but the World Tree Woo deck doesn't really ever become, it doesn't have the burst. It used to have a massive early burst of money because you used to play 3 copies of Temujin Contract. So any early server could be massively exploited by you just installing a Temujin Contract for 1 credit essentially and running back on that server like multiple times, and then that's your money for the rest of the game. You can even then sell the Temujin Contract to get your next Temujin Contract. It was very, very silly. But now Wu being pointed out of that as an option means that it kind of it slowly drips up, and it has just enough money at each point to do what it wants to do, but doesn't really, we've got enough money here to do stuff, as you can see. A third Anansi out. This one's probably going to fire. I can't
Might do.
see.
You lose a Leprechaun, which is annoying. Other cards in hand are fine to lose. It's also Knight from Chess has been throwing this ice like on a consistent cadence. So every turn has went for World Tree value. You just get hit. We get hit by ice into ice, and Matti just generating money out of somewhere.
Yeah, I mean this is it. Torrent is putting on a lot of pressure. As much as Knight from Chess keeps res in this ice, these Anansis are expensive. Slot machines and the Engram flushes, not so much, but the Anansis we've spent. My maths isn't good enough. 24 credits on Anansis so far. That's a lot of money.
And second three has come down. So triggers. If you wanted triggers before, we have triggers on triggers.
Yeah, so this reclaim is going to turn into something next turn, I would imagine. We're going to start world treeing out, programs and resources. Knight from Chess here going down to 2 credits, which is a bit risky now. Torrent probably makes a free run here unless we see exactly a Cortex lock, but Knight from Chess wants to go down to nothing.
Yeah, Cortex lock also kind of sad with 0 MU on the table.
Yeah, Crick would actually be kind of sick.
Oh yeah, that would be so nice. But no, just getting a free World Tree trigger, getting these free triggers is the situation that Torrent kind of wants to be in, where Knight from Chess spends too much credits on the actual races of ice on central servers and the remote, which means there's one server left open where you just can farm these really key runs that let you gain your important stuff. We see a Yogg come down. These will at some point just turn off every single code gate in Knight from Chess's list. These slot machines, these Engram flushes will just literally stop doing anything.
Yeah, and notably though, that is the first free World Tree trigger that we've had this entire game. Every other one has been forced through some kind of ice due to the MTI ability. Normally not something that you have to worry about because there's very few decks in Eternal which ice all 3 centrals first turn and can res everything. So you normally have a couple of turns of just being able to run willy-nilly, I guess. We'll see.
Yeah, looks like we might be getting our second free World Tree trigger here. Yeah, second round of World Tree triggers even. And something like Turbine coming down.
Yeah, we might be going.
Which program we're selling? Baram getting sold out. Finding Turbine instead.
Okay.
Meaning Yogg will be solid 4 strength.
5 strength. 5 strength. So that's so currently
also.
None of those code gates now do anything, so that's fun.
Yeah, also sentries get broken for 3 credits, or like an Anansi for 3 is kind of cheap as you can want to get it. Yeah, imagine 3 5-strength ice, you break for 3 credits.
Yeah, I mean, this is, like, as much as you're like, yeah, you can make them run back with things like Nisei and Skunkworks. If every time they only have to pay 2 or 3 credits to run back, it doesn't matter. Like, one of the fun things about watching Torrent's decks like this, you get to see the cards which they've decided, I'm going to include a copy or 2 of it. That could be useful. And here we see a Ghost Runner in Torrent's hand. That is a stealth card, which I believe you install for 1 and has 3 stealth credits on it, which is not a huge amount of value, but it's just good enough where you could use it to spend those stealth credits on the run and then sell it for something more impressive.
Yeah, it's
and
like
that's what I
credit
think we're gonna
positive
see.
resource just means that you can sell it for World 3 and be reasonably happy about it. Oh, Cuban also will save us or give us 2 credits from the run, so we're basically making this run for +1 credit here.
Yeah,
And
this
combining
seems.
3 install triggers out of the illumination also.
I mean, this seems like it's going pretty bad for Knight from Chess is not in a great position now. I don't see how you kind of come back from this. You're going to need some sort of trick, and I don't know what that trick is in terms of MTI.
If we see a Managarm get installed on the remote, that is still a card that will tax our credits hard, like red credits, not be like an ice tax. So that could be a way that we actually can start scoring.
Yeah, true. I don't think that Toron has the influence for a Light the Fire, but that would be the one sort of thing that you can pull off a World Tree that would completely hose that plan.
Yeah, Light the Fire, maybe a political operative. I think that's one influence. Could be an option.
Yeah.
But yeah, this deck is so stretched between 15 influence divided between 135 cards.
Yeah, especially as we know that there's a snitch in here from seeing last week's game, which I think is 2 or 3 influence. Toron probably having to consider running this, but again, still not really flush with cash. Doesn't have to pay much to get through this ice, but does have to pay something.
Yeah, something is apparently enough here. 3 credits is more than you're willing to spend right now, but coalescences, do we have any more copies of those? Doesn't look like it. Every single coalescence being sold out already means that Toron doesn't have access to this like quick cash card that he has used previously this game.
And I mean, we see a clone chip in hand, but we'd really want that to be a simul chip if we were going to do it for plus money as such. Making a run here, possibly just to sort of try and force out an MTI trigger.
Yeah, it does look like important cards that we can see here. Stuff like Aesop's Pawn Shop could start generating us money.
Yeah, we don't have much that we can sell right now, I don't think, but maybe
start selling your extra. I guess nothing.
It might be Film Critic that Toron's looking for.
Yeah, Film Critic is a card that we have to get down at some point. Oh, deciding to sell one of the 3s.
Yeah.
3 for a Reiseki? Just compacting that huge tree down into a singular green orb.
Seems good. And that telework is money that we can get straight away. If this is a Managarm, we're a credit short, I believe. And if it's any other sort of end run option, Caprice Nisei, we need to nail this. Side game here.
Luckily, Knight from Chess does have 2 tries on this Psy game here.
Yes, of course, because you have the MT trigger after the Caprice.
Yeah, which is kind of silly. You start, and if we do see a Managarm in this list, that is a 1 more layer in this guessing game that we will have. You first have to guess. No, you have first you have to get through Caprice, then you have to pay the Managarm, and then you get Mati Ice installed, which means another round of Caprice and Managarm triggers.
Yeah, and then they res a former carry just to make you do it all again. Okay, so it looks like Knight from Chess, it was a a Charlotte, I believe, in remote.
I think outermost remote was a Rashida Yahim, and
Yeah.
then Jackson Howard in server 3 getting popped.
Ah,
And that means we install 2 cards into server 3 this turn. Just does look like completely server kind of being locked out, and Toron doing these extra runs. We are starting to set up the drip engine. We are dripping 4 credits a turn of solid cash that we can inject into our breakers and start running through things.
yeah, and I think this telework is going to probably turn into something like a casts, but we'll find out. Are we going
we
for
do
the
have a
follow-up?
political
Okay.
operative.
Yeah.
Political operative, huge card here. Lets you trash a card out of a remote server on payability speed, meaning if Knights from Chess decides to res a Managram, political operative can just snipe that one down.
Yeah, this is what pinholes used to look like.
Yeah, a bit different when you cannot run every single server. Political operative being able to just camp is kinda sometimes more powerful, sometimes more expensive. Definitely an interesting option here. Sniping Caprice Nisei. We don't have enough credits to actually pay the Managram here, though.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Managram have forcing 5 credits or 2 clicks out of the runner, which we just don't have here. First, we had to go and fetch the political operative, and then Managram just ending our tracks completely.
Knight from Chess going to be very poor after this score, though, assuming it is a score. And I think the Pishao on R&D potentially suggests that Toron is now going to pivot. With Knight from Chess at just 2 credits, Toron knows that they can't really pull out any ice, which is going to cost them extra money here. This is where I would love something like a Chromatospores, and then you kind of stick a Chromatospores down, you run through this Anansi for nothing, and you pull your multi-access, which I think is a conduit here.
I believe so, yeah. Yeah, and that actually could start letting us win the game. And ice getting installed. Tatubola? Oh, that's free cash. That's free cash.
That's exactly that. I mean, we do have a hush in this list if Toron wants to kind of leave it there and come back. But yeah, that's the only piece of ice which I think would be worth rezzing and is actually a really, really nice play there.
A Tatubola is a massive boost for Mati. Normally, this ice sometimes in this endgame vortex that just literally turns into do nothing. But Tatubola, after you can start setting multiples on there, is just 2 credits every time you go past that. And Mati can leverage those credits really well.
I need to talk to Toron about investing in blue cleaver and some cybernetic hardware in here. I feel like a 4 strength blue cleaver. Someone remind me what that card's actually called. I genuinely don't know. Tremolo, thank you, Audrey. A 4 strength barrier breaker that breaks everything for 0 could be like quite fun. Yeah, this is so Toron really like this is where you really have to think like, do you want to give Knight from Chess this money? Because them being down at 0 credits is pretty big. Like, you are dripping up, they are not. There's no Charlotte in the server, so you possibly just want to keep them slow here and consider going in and getting that Tatubola hushed or something along those lines so that you can deal with it next turn.
Yeah, definitely an option here. And Toron taking a time to think here. The games are untimed, I believe. So there is definitely enough time to think. All the games have been pre-recorded during the week, and we were just watching the replays, kinda still catching the live sports entertainment feel of the product here.
Yeah, they've been previewed by Warlock, in case anything needed to get edited out or edited down. But me and Axel are both seeing this for the first time, and yeah, we do see just the firing this Tattoo Bowler. I think Toron probably pivoting somewhere like Archives to get a World Tree run, possibly.
There is also, we did go to 0 credits. We also did spend the Mate Trigger. So server 3 could be an option to go and blow up this Managram here when Nightfrom just doesn't have any credits, doesn't have anything else to like start doubling those Managram triggers. But looking like we're just selling for a knickknack and setting up even more. Yeah. Next time Nightfrom just cannot be scoring out or like pushing out an agenda. So we have a couple more turns that Toron has a like time to set up here.
Yeah, interestingly, we see a piece of ice in the bin there, which I feel like Nightfrom Chess could have really done with earlier on. If that Chiashi had come down, especially on the remote early doors, then Toron would have actually had quite a lot of problems dealing with that, especially as their rig early on is fairly AI dependent. Starting to get Prince Appears down, which come in for nothing. Very cool. So now we can knick-knack them away. That's a cool new interaction. Obviously, this has a -1 for every installed icebreaker, and we've got about 10 gajillion of them installed at the moment. So looking pretty good.
I sadly cannot install Parisia for like minus credits.
We also see an Urban Art Vernissage. That is a cool card when we have a lot of different Trojans, which also makes sense because we're playing 3 copies of Muse because it's one of the best kind of cards for pulling stuff out of a bin using Woo's ability. Maybe are we going to get this Hush for the tattoo, or are we're just moneying up more and more here?
Yeah, looks like going for the credit route, installing an Akamatsu mem chip, just a 1 credit for 1 MU, kind of a gold standard somewhat.
Yeah, and it's also a good card to use. It's only 1 credit, so if Toron wants to go and get himself a Simmel chip, it's a pretty good option for that, and Simmel chip can be incredibly valuable in these kind of decks.
Yeah, Nightfrom Chess installing a card. There is a world where Toron feels safe here. The usual version of the Mate list does just play 6 copies of 3-point agendas and 1 copy of Project Nisei Mark II. But can Toron be safe here in that belief? If we are overconfident on it and Nightfrom just scores out, Toron will be kicking himself, but challenging the remote is going to be costly.
Yeah, but I think you have enough money to do it, and you'll have the clicks for the Managarm, and then you can clear out the Managarm. So I think it's the right turn to do that. Look, we're now bouncing up to 18 credits. Yeah, so the knick-knack engine now adding on to our already kind of drip system is kind of bonkers. I think you have to here. If I was playing against you, I would be pretty sure that I was only dealing with 5-3s, but anyone else, they could well be on a free Nisei 4-5-3s kind of option here.
And there it is, spending 2 clicks to be able to get through the second wave of Managarm. Definitely not from just needing that Caprice Nisei that was killed by the political operative. And 1 more world trigger to see before we actually can clear this server out. A second copy of
Turbine?
No, that's too much. Charlotte, it's Charlotte. It's not over. Managarm, that's trash. Lacoste
Yeah,
getting
just
clashed?
destroying the whole server, because right now Toron he can go down to 0 credits. Next turn he'll be up at 10 before you know it. He's going to drip for 5 at the start, some number with the knick-knack, which could be anything up to, who knows, 6 if kind of real bonkers stuff is going to happen. Still 71 cards to churn through before we might need to like levy stuff back, but I think if Toron draws a levy, might just play it so that we've got like Coalescence plays again. But
you get Coalescence, you get your Political Operative back, which might be like really important card that we manage to lob into the remote. We still keep installing programs. This
still, I think just checking what's left apart from anything. I think 3 copies of Kaioban in here as well, which is really, really hype. Like that's a great World Tree card, because you run through the ice and then you turn it into something else. It was a card which was quintessential with World Tree Arasana, and makes just as much sense here.
Yeah, Toron looking like we are installing the Cuban on Anansi, making sure that we just pay 1 credit for that one. So this Paul remote server with 4 stack ice at this moment costing just 4 credits to run, and looks like we are running there. Yeah, just have Toron making sure that he goes and clears that server before we can stack multiples of problematic upgrades there.
Yeah. I'm wondering what the second turbine was for, but maybe it's protection against the big barriers, the Chiashis. It's the only thing I could, or like, I guess it might be DNA tracker. It might be sort of, you don't know that they're not a DNA tracker. You don't have a way of boosting.
From checks like this, normally installing these Charlottes there is making the opponent so scared, but Toron just every single card in this Doom engine, making sure that Toron can just get into everywhere for basically free.
Yeah. And now we really are sort of, the drip now, like I said, for turns 1 through 10, we're at 2 or 3 credits most of the time for Toron, just enough credits to sort of get places using some tricky kind of options. But now we're at 18 credits. We're gonna take another 6 or 7 at the start of next turn. This seems pretty unmatchable. I would imagine now, we're getting a film critic, which means that we're probably looking at switching up the game. Like Toron's ready to win the game now.
We have all the pieces of the Doom engine and the kind of like prison lock of the runner being set up here, where Nightfront just literally cannot do anything. Though there are still Caprice Nissa's Snipes from hand.
Yep. There's
Caprice Nissa was the most important card Nightfront just could have had in hand. Like that just kind of feels like it seals the deal. Jackson Howard being able to draw a couple of cards, but depending on how many copies of those critical upgrades we have, might be too late. Bit too late. Then Hansei review getting played, not from just up to 20 credits, but the corporation's credit pool kind of doesn't matter at this point.
No, and I mean we can take that Future Perfect right now, or which I think is probably the better plan before like you want to go and start digging elsewhere, because you don't want to have to deal with Future Perfect side games. You just get them on the film critics, and
just 2 clicks basically, skipping every single score requirement or the steal requirement on the agenda, just adding it up onto the score area, putting Toron to 5 points, and opening up this film critic for a second review.
You gotta wonder if Knight from Chess was wishing that they were on 6 3-pointers and 2 copies of the 2-1 instead. would be in a much better position right now, as much as Toron could obviously pull a clot at any moment.
Yeah, that like the deck building requirements in Eternal are really interesting, where you have these really powerful cards that are just below the power level of Eternal, but like sometimes just them not being popular gives them a huge power boost. Stuff like if you're not expected to play this specific agenda in your agenda suite, it can add up a huge level of variance in how your opponent needs to deal with your deck. But looking sadly like the normal standard deck here, we are installing a card in the remote. Do I see a second one? No, just one. And I think Toron is going to kick this sandcastle down as well here.
Yeah, I mean, we're about to drip for 7, 8, maybe 9.
Around there.
I don't know. We're up to 23. We're also going to get at least 3 more credits when we run. I think we're going to. Oh no, the knick-knack's gone. Wait a second. The knick-knack went. I completely missed the knick-knack.
I think knick-knack was sold for one of the daily casts. We did kind of not have anything super important to sell at that point.
I wonder if Toron trick shots here. Yeah.
Yeah, there it is. Trick shot. Good enough card to play in your 135 cards.
And which really shows, because you like Weltry Wu does not play many events, or not as many as lots of other eternal decks, just because you can't tutor them. But trick shot still good enough to get there.
Oboe Kata getting added to the film critic.
I think you just steal it.
You can just steal it 100%.
Wow.
Unique cards access 15. And this feels like the runner was just completely dominating the entire position, but kind of legitimately, there were a couple of key cards that completely turned the direction of the game up. Trashing the Caprice Nice out of the remote with the political operative means that the remote's power level gets destroyed in half, and the La Costa not being able to like defend everything by itself, and then we access a Caprice Nice out of HQ, which completely shut the door. Like you need multiples of those, and Nightform just not being just able to find them, doing really well to get up to 6 agenda points against the deck, but just not managing it. Maybe a bit too early on the Nice Mark II score earlier in the game. If that was scored in, this last agenda could have been pushed way more easier in there, but sadly just being locked out completely.
Yeah, I mean, really, you essentially either have to beat the Weltry to the punch, which is kind of tricky with this ice suite, because like I said, there's not much end to run here.
Yep.
So it's all taxing, it's all sort of doing a lot of damage, things like that, which can make it a problem to steal oboes, things like that. But there's very little which is saying you actually can't, you can't run through all of this. So kind of tricky to just rush out, which is almost your only option here. Like there were early turns before about turn 10 where maybe Nightform Chess had potential windows if they found exactly the right things to jam in the remote. But once that's over, it's over. Before we forget, we should talk about Mezzi's tournament. Maybe Andre has it around somewhere.
What exactly the standings?
So I know that, it is Mezzi's. Yeah. So Mezzi is running a series of online tournaments, which are eternal tournaments. I think they are. My brain has gone completely blank, and I can't see my Discord, so I'm going to need to pull out of here a second. Wait a second. It's got a cool name. Can't remember what name is, but it'll come back to me in a second. Here we go. It is called Astrostrip delivery service.
I got it.
And the first one happens on the 14th of February. It's which is Valentine's Day, right? That's where Valentine's Day is. What better way to spend Valentine's Day than running Woo into Scorp or something along those lines? Starting at, I don't know what time it starts for you lot. I think it starts at 10 a.m. for me. No, 4 a.m., 4 p.m. for me. UCT, something like that.
Right.
I'm very bad at giving time, like working out. So if you know what 4 p.m. UCT is to you guys, then it's then. But I think Mezzi's planning on doing these quite regularly from the sound of this. This is number 1 of 1. So expect more. And yeah, it's nice to see other events coming out in the Eternal calendar.
Super cool.
Yeah, some consistent Eternal play.
Awesome. We have some more games to go to. Do you want to jump to the next games up? Which it looks like the pairing I have is Off 1515 versus Jai. Let's give this a shot. Have fun, y'all.
Yeah, this might be an interesting game. We did see Jai playing as this similar kind of Nebula like last week, where Augustus just kind of get locked out by Vamp and everything. But I think O1515 might be playing a different version with that has more kill options instead of just being a raw fast advanced deck. But a lot of this going down onto how fast Jai can set up this Nightmare engine. Interesting how we have 2 of those in back-to-back matches. But stuff like Off-Camper's Apartment and installing every single resource out of there, generating huge amounts of credits with Tech Trader, and then just vamping the corporation down to smithereens is, I think, the key game plan here. And in here we do see 1 copy of Off-Campus Apartment come down super early, and Fall Guy and Vamp. I think Jai really happy with his hand, and it's up to our 50-15 to stop it.
Yeah, I mean, really makes you think that best defense should be a free of in a load of these decks, right? Like there's Jai's is a little more sort of geared into dealing with it, because Fall Guy does help with the off campus not being trashed, but these engine decks are just love to host a ton of cards on a 0 cost resource or program. With
Jai has to be cheating. Who the hell finds double Tech Trader on turn 2? Somebody check him PC.
Yeah, he's been, you know, he's given MB Kelly the donations, basically. Like,
he definitely was the 2014 and 2015 Player of the Year for a reason. And Jai just accepting the fate. If he gets boomed, he gets boomed. Installing Sephora, a console that lowers an once per turn, when you encounter a ice, you get to lower its strength down to 0. And for that amazing ability, your huge cost is that your hand size gets lowered by 1 for the turn. So kind of 0 cost for a broken ass ability.
Yeah, I mean, it makes it slightly easier to kill people with Chief Slee. Outside of that, outside of that, not so great. We're seeing an upgrade on R&D, which I'm pretty sure is going to be a Crisium grade, which is a really mean card to play in Nebula. Wheels is going to be a pretty great card. We can't quite install it yet, and I don't think Jai doesn't want to float a tag currently. That feels very sketchy to do. So.
And again, O1515 setting up this server where if it's a breaking news, you just get killed already here.
Yeah.
There's nothing you can do.
And this is petty cashews, which is scary. Just score out. Okay,
Astroscript. A card that used to be limit 1 per deck because it's the most powerful agenda in the game, but NBN kind of weak, leading up to its unerrating. So back Astroscript being freed back to being limit 3 per deck. And Jai again just setting up. A friend of a friend installing a copy of wheels and gaining a tag. Getting credits, and just setting up, maybe kicking himself for installing the Aumakua super early or discarding the Aumakua. Probably would be really happy to send in a Aumakua plus Sifar combo into a Vamp. Just clearing everything up here.
Yeah, possibly. I'm assuming he's sort of just didn't think he had enough money to break anything early. Wasn't really looking to make any runs that early. But yeah, I think right now you would want to have an Aumakua so you could start forcing off 15 minus 15 some of those credits to sort of start to disappear.
Yeah, sometimes refers OF0.
He's off 15 minus 15 to me from now on. So right here we've got ice everywhere apart from our R&D. So really hoping that Crisium is gonna sort of deal with everything. Jai with finding the third tech trader on that street peddler, which is pretty sick, having all 3 of those down so early. But again, like we could just die here if this is a breaking news in server 1. We've got an Astroscript counter where there's a petty cash in the bin. We have everything we need to just lose. So Jai got to be a bit careful here.
And even if it's not a tech kill in the remote directly, the Astroscript will be fast advancing more and more Astroscripts. And even if O1515 gets 2 Astroscripts with both having a counter, that opens up so many more lines to the deck here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, we are going R&D, deciding to flip this ID over. We probably will have to do this run twice because Crisium Grid, making sure that the run is not considered successful, doesn't affect anything else except these triggers that would result. So you have to go back and flip the Nebula ID again.
Yeah, not that it's really going to help because we've just seen a Seamless in hand. So if that is a breaking news in the remote, then even flipping is not going to stop the kill.
Yeah, desperately maybe digging for a copy of Yargonev Mercs, which would let him survive. Yeah. No, just getting rumor mills.
Would be useful if this was a Drago kill deck, but it is not.
Sadly, this Nebula deck can build for a different direction. Seamless launch?
We're seeing a Seamless.
Seamless launch?
We're seeing a double Seamless. Okay, we're just scoring.
So scoring a Bellona?
Now Jai is in so much trouble.
Yeah.
Like he might die out of nowhere, but he also might just lose. A lot of stuff has to happen here.
Over 15-15 opening a line for Jai. We do get the Praxis installing an Aumakua. And there is a world where we do see this Vamp start to line up. But installing also a copy of wheels. Tech Trader, Street Peddler. Every option here is looking kind of decent.
Yeah. The Val will remove the tag, which is something.
No, just go for I think maybe just digging for something.
Yeah, having the best option of being able to find like more ice trashing options as well.
Oh, there's a crew.
Fenris.
Yeah, Arushar's
and
crew.
Another crew.
Kind of really an option that will trash some ice. I think the deck does play copies of Gold Farmer, which is an ice that Marcera's crew is extremely good at cracking open.
Yeah, Jai having exactly 15 credits, which is the same as off 15-15 here, which so off 15 minus 15 is going to be minus 15 if this doesn't happen.
Bars.
It's in my name. So this is where Jai's deck suddenly starts to take over. We're going to vamp, and we're going to vamp again and again and again.
Yeah. All 15 thinking here about the reses of ice on HQ. Like, if we do have 2 copies of Another on Ice that actually has strength, might be just over. It can also look like Jai is extremely poor after this run if we have to spend 15 credits. But Street Peddler is going to be +1, Arosera's crew is going to be +1, and these deck traders are extremely good at setting back up again.
Yeah. Street Peddler will be +3. When you crack the Street Peddler, that's just free credits, like out of nowhere. The crews will just be +1 because you're going to have to pay for them. But
you don't have to pay. Don't you have to pay for the Street Peddler install?
Oh yeah, I guess so. Yeah, true.
It's cheaper also.
Yeah.
This car is broken. Oh, they are even getting installed. This is an ice that Jai has to encounter first, so will be an extra tag if Jai just doesn't want to enter on. And like, this deck cannot float tags after the run ends here.
Yeah, this is where it's gonna get slightly dicey. Jai doesn't have access to a wheels, which was where like maybe pulling the wheels instead of a Street Peddler was the correct play here. Because we're going to be on at least 2 tags if we hit this Data Raven. We're going to be on 3 with the vamp, and off 15 minus 15 can just click for 2 credits and delete the off-campus apartment, and Jai's game plan goes pretty much out the window.
And yeah, just getting mixed here. The second ice on HQ will be deciding kind of everything. Having to take the tag.
Yeah, if we see an IP block on the inside here, then that's going to be
no shot within the sub-fire. Are we?
Apparently.
We are. Maybe. I guess. We have credits. We have credits. Never mind. Stop the alarms. Everything is all right.
Yeah, and I guess you need to keep your Cipher ability for
the second ice,
the inside ice, because you can't use the crew ability here.
Yeah,
you'll end up on too many tags. Yeah, boy, it is
an IP block. Encounter giving 1 more tag. So Jai ending on 3. We cannot clear like all of these. There's no way.
Ending on 4. Is there market forces in off 15 minus 15's deck? Because if so,
if there's market forces, I think even getting click for credit, trash off campus apartment is kind of game ending.
Absolutely.
Installing DJ Fenris. DJ Fenris will get us something. Installing onto the rig, saving up, Geist. And then deciding to trash. Drawing up a second copy of Cipher. Doesn't help super much, but like,
yeah, this is interesting now. So what does Jai spend the rest of his turn doing? Just clearing tags or floating them? Like you can't even necessarily win that easily because there's Bellonas in the deck. Jai has exactly 5 credits, can steal a Bellona, can't steal more.
And yeah, this tech charge will just leave the deck.
Yeah, luckily, I mean, there is a levy, but we're gonna have to then, get everything back into the deck somehow.
and going to be a. We will see the direction that the game will go on after this turn. Will O15 have something better to do than just trash the off-campus apartment? I feel like that's the line that Autopilot is like selecting, but could have even worse tech punishment waiting for Jai.
Yeah, I mean, even a self-growth program would be more disgusting and allow Off15 to not just spend their entire turn.
24 hours
24-hour news cycle. What's happening?
4 credits?
What's happening? Are we booming?
Are we?
Wow, that's so cool.
24 hours news cycle. Card that we have usually seen as a kill combo piece. Means you have
we kind of did. We did see it as a kill combo
I mean,
piece.
technically yes, but like that's different. So forfeiting an agenda, this Astro scripted with a counter on it, and taking this when score ability on the Bellona, just 5 extra credits that we will send a heat-seeking missile to Sebastia's orphanage.
That is wild. Have you ever? I don't know if ever in the history of Netrunner someone has forfeit an Astro script with a counter. That's gotta be a first. Like that's absolutely gotta be a first.
I think that's even a first Bellona trigger that gets triggered by 24-hour news cycle. That's 2 world firsts, I think.
I could see someone having done that in a game at some point.
I don't know. I don't know.
Incredible scenes.
Yeah, just wonderful. I'm over 50 making sure that Jai has to go fast as possible, and I think the game comes down on the discard on the first turn on Jai. The game, like the matchup here, is just that sharp that you cannot afford to make a single mistake. If we just have the Aumakua earlier, you send it into HQ, you vamp all the credits out of over 15-15's credit pool, and the game is completely different. But Jai just managing one discard wrong, not being able to do that, over 15-15 going up, setting this huge credit per differential up, and managing to make HQ secure as possible. That's wild.
Love it. Definitely, we thought it was going to be click for 2 credits, trash the off-campus apartment. We had a much better. Right, we should move on to the next game. Because...
we can just sit here and talk about the wonderful lines for the entire time. But looking up a similar, no, maybe not a similar matchup. I think maybe more similar to the first matchup of the evening that we saw between 45 card combo Wu versus Nebula. I believe that Jai doesn't have the tech in here, but going to be interesting to see.
I mean, what is the tech that you put in Nebula to deal with combo Wu?
If somebody is interested, I would love to hear if people will get some work out of Archangel specifically.
Okay, fair. I mean, me and you played a pretty wild game of draft with me accessing multiple Archangels on a multi-access and basically losing my entire rig. So that's definitely a good call. Jai does have a couple of copies of Chrysium, and notably, which if he can get Chrysiums on R&D, then off 15 minus 15 is going to have to go and trash those before they can Illumination, before they can do the APOC, all of that kind of nonsense. If you can get a Chrysium on both R&D and HQ, the combo turn becomes really expensive, and this Wu does not have a ton of money, like disposable, so might have to spend some turns just clicking for credits.
Notably, first turn we'd see the classical just install coalescences and get up to 14 credits without playing a single card out of hand, and we managed to find our first ritual. Means that the combo turn might be possible even a third 3 here.
Yeah, we've also got, well, having an SMC in hand doesn't really help, but
I just
So
saved.
we can.
Not even credit, yeah, it just doesn't do it.
Yeah, no, that's it. I guess it's no, it literally has no bearing. So we'll see if we just pull 3 SMCs this turn, or two SMCs from the deck and install one from hand. Getting
classical line.
Leprechaun, because we've probably got enough money to go here.
I believe so. I think the credit totals have been calculated kind of directly. That about 14 was the correct number, where you can install a lot of these options.
Yeah, so off 15 here, considering running to turn off Nebula, because Jai's play here is to just install a breaking news in server 1, which is what off 15 is checking for. And it was such a cool play. Jai knowing that they essentially have a turn, and that was their one chance to potentially just cheese the win if off 15 decided to focus a bit too hard on their game plan and forget that the Nebula can just kill you out of nowhere.
Yeah, now we see the hyperdriver starting to be set up. Second copy of self-modifying card coming down. And that's the second hyperdriver. The third one probably going down afterwards. We have one credit more as an option. No, that is Muse for Muse.
Yeah, you Muse to get an SMC out the bin to then get the other hyperdriver. So you're there, and we have just enough credits. Look at that. So this is interesting now. So
with 0 credits, like there's a world where we cannot do it next turn, and Jai has one more turn of a lifeline here.
The ice on R&D is a problem, because I think with 0 credits you would be fine if there was an ice on R&D, because you can illuminate out Simul chips and you suddenly have money again.
Also, we just have a singular copy of Ritual in the hand. Sometimes if you have 2, you make it extremely certain that the combo will go off. But if you Ritual and the first 13 cards of your deck aren't extra copies of Ritual or the combo pieces, it might spell disaster for you.
4 tags here though, so now we probably have to pop off.
Yeah, you have to go.
Really
you have to go and check.
Meteor pointing out the deck run strike funds, which is fine, but you have to install the Faust to use them, or click one.
And that's the first
one.
There's no second Ritual. Oh, there is. Just the small cards tripping me.
All 3 are there. All 3 are there.
Yeah, that's so good for over 15-15. Second copy of Ritual coming down. Do we see the third one drawing the rest of the deck? And looking for it. There it is. And might be forced to click for 3. Oh no, rigging up! Of course!
Rigging up.
Of course!
The absolute, like, so cool. Like, it's a one-of in the deck, and this is like Warlock's kind of disgusting genius here, because it's that card is there so that you can do this. You can combo out from 0 credits. Absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, we will gain 6 credits out of the strike ones in hand. We will spend 3 credits on the Apocalypse, and then play a couple Encores and Illumination R&D into install 3 Coalescences from bin, and that's going to be kind of over.
Yeah, so we're gonna the first run here is probably going to be the Illumination run, so that we can get the Simul chips, but we'll kind of see.
Yeah, a lot of this actually depends on what's the ice on R&D and HQ. Is it something that actually has tech here, or any words at all?
Yeah, I mean, if it's literally just a oh, you see, you just let this fight. You don't even have to break this.
Yeah, you just don't care about the tags anymore. The runner corporation just doesn't have any more turns to do anything with the tags. So eating 2, getting an extra counter onto the data raven, which will normally the data raven subroutine firing and getting that counter is like one of the worst things that can happen to the runner, but here just doesn't matter.
Yeah,
B1001 being indicated in chat, but just not installed, sadly.
you would also need to be able to protect it somehow. Like, I don't know how you do that.
Opponent having 0 credits kind of protects it.
Yeah.
A bit.
Yeah, but you've like off 15 very sensibly not. Well, maybe not very sensibly though. That's interesting. So I was going to say not popping these symbol chips yet, because if there's slot machine on HQ, which is probably there is because Jai hasn't rezzed, it does nothing. It does literally nothing because you don't even lose credits. So now we've got to try and trash the right cards with Faust. We're going to open up the box to make that a little bit easier. I think that's cheating. You should just have to do it the old-fashioned way. It's part of the game.
Nice. Trying to figure out the UI.
Yeah.
Manually open and close every single window. But now we see Encore in there. And T15 has no hella credits after this, right?
Yeah, you're going to have 12 more.
Yeah, so up to 18, I believe.
Because there's still the illumination in hand that you need to install all of the multi-access, which essentially is a copy of Conduit, a copy of Equivocation, and a copy of Medium. We might even see the iRaid through HQ to put the Bologna back on top so that you know that there's 5 points there.
There's the Encores being played and the Epoch being sent in, so we still have 2 clicks remaining.
Yeah,
means that Illumination will install our Conduit, our Equivocation, and our Medium.
And for a grand total of about 4 credits,
something like that, and just toggling everything. And we just start digging R&D. We will see basically every single card. Equivocation, putting 1 card into HQ every single run from top of R&D.
15 ending up with exactly 5 credits, which is what you need here, because you do want to be able to potentially steal a Bologna. So that's actually pretty spot on.
Technically, might want to steal those. Realistically, you will see the entire corporation deck during these dives or during these digs.
So we could fast forward, right? If anyone hasn't seen it get to this point, you have, like, unless Jai is playing something incredibly spicy, multiple copies of Snare and Bite, something along those lines.
2 bites would win the game.
Yeah, I mean, yes. But it needs to be pretty good to make it happen here.
If there's a copy of the what's it called, Archangel, you can bounce both of the mediums and conduits back into hand, which is cute.
Yeah. You could reinstall them. Just taking taking the extra money here means that you can.
Yeah, steal the Bologna during the last run. Yeah, just like the combo Wu doing what combo Wu does, basically.
Yeah, was that turn 3? Yeah, turn
3 combo combo win. Pretty solid.
I mean, at least the games are over quick when they're like it is a definite one. So this is this is what's really interesting, because I know that lots of people came into this tournament with Nebula, thinking that Nebula was the best deck on the Corp side, and it might well be. It's incredibly strong, but also a lot of people have brought in Wu, which is clearly is kind of the best deck, and the Nebula has no tech against Wu. Apart from the Chrysiums, you have to find a Chrysium super early. You might be all right. You know, slot something fun. You might be all right, but it's like there are decks which I feel like Combo Wu's going to have a tricky time against potentially Scorp. If Scorp gets Kesseroids out early, things like that, could have a real tricky time against things like IG, and those are decks that we're not seeing this time round. So I have to see what happens.
Yeah, I think the week 4 is going to be really interesting. With those 2 games finishing up, I think we might be switching commentators.
I think that's right. We have 4 matchups this week to go through. That was half of them so far. So I believe we might be joined by someone. Otherwise, I'm going to be running solo here for a bit. Axion Bod, thanks so much for joining me.
Yeah, 100%. Eternal ASIC format. I hope to see everybody in the following weeks. And I will go leave my deck up for tomorrow's meetup and go to sleep.
Heck yeah.
All right. See you around.
Take care. Bye as well. Thanks so much for joining.
It's been a pleasure. Do you want me to stick around until Anarcho turns up?
Yeah, if you have the time, that's cool.
I should be okay for the time being. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah,
okay.
I think we're all good.
So I realized, by the way, I'm running the graphics in the background. I don't have any of the scans, unfortunately, from Elevation. So if you're watching and wondering why the Elevation cards are not showing up, that's the reason why. But we got a game. We're off. This is Ace Empress versus Mezzy, I believe. Haley Kaplan. What sort of the deck is this Haley deck going to be? It looks like we have Basilar Synthland in hand.
I mean, this looks sort of combo-y, right? Like if we've got Basilar, we've got this might just be sort of, I'm going to deep dive. This might be a variation on the Wu deck, but with spending Eternal points elsewhere, because Haley isn't pointed and Wu is. We also don't know, because Ace Empress was on
the bye week last week.
Had the bye week, last week. So
we have the bye week last week.
We've just found out what Ace Empress is doing with their deck.
Okay.
We see 2 copies of Account Siphon and a big old boat in hand. So this is Siphon Haley. Probably running deep dive as the WinCon, I would imagine, because deep dive and Siphon are really, really fun together.
Yeah.
But doing it out of Haley. Whether this is the turn which Ace Empress wants, and whether you are just throwing out an Account Siphon against Nebula, which seems a bit scary, but we're doing it. Right. Mezzy already worried. Probably not expecting that, but that's a lot of money. Unfortunately, probably have to clear at least one of these tags, I would assume.
Yeah, do you charge a remote server here? Like, there's still some face checks, like IP block, Gold Farmer. I think you can barely res. It's been a minute, but 2 tags in, yeah, is definitely a problem.
Yeah, IP block's probably the worst, because you're tagged, you can't just go through it.
Oh, misdirection, pulling that in, giving that click compression.
Hype.
And let alone we flip Nebula, so we're not going to get any fast advance. But the Rashida remote server, we've seen that so consistently. It's good to see Rashida once again. 3 credits, 3 cards. The question now is Mezzy going to respect the second and maybe the third Account Siphon? Like when you see 1, you expect the whole gang to be there, right?
Yeah, but like there's no chance that you have 2 in your opening,
right?
We should see. It looks like we are joined by a wild Anarcho mushroom.
Hey, Narco.
So,
good evening, folks. Apologies. I was supposed to be jumping in slightly earlier, but I got held up a little bit.
No stress.
Hope everyone's enjoying the stream. The games have been suitably wild. I think a continuation of last week, a lot of combo woo, a lot of Nebula shenanigans, and I can see we're up to yet more shenanigans with Nebula and Haley, a deck that I've been really excited to see. So I'm very excited to get to cast this one.
Yeah, we shifted
Absolutely.
gears
In
here.
which case,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm gonna swoop out, and I'm just gonna watch the stream and enjoy. So have fun. I'm going to certainly. Thanks for having me on. I'll
Hey.
see you all in another week at some point.
Take care, Bob. Thanks so much for joining on the microphone.
Thank you, Bob.
So we have an endurance hitting the decks. This comes in with its 3 counters. We can spend 2 to break subroutines. This card does not care about ice strength. It's also not AI coded. This was one of the most powerful cards for the year. It survived through standard and internal. I don't know if you see it that much, but still quite strong. IP block.
Yeah, like in theory, it's a very powerful card, but the problem is in Eternal, Corpse or runners don't really care about breaking ice, and
Yeah.
Corpse aren't really caring about ice. It's not an archetype. Like stuff like Glacier and Rush just aren't archetypes that really exist. This Nebula deck is maybe kind of shifting that a little bit, because it is actually very much, it's not just a fast advanced deck, it's also a pretty good rush deck that presents this like dual threat fork for the runners. So this could be a matchup where endurance is quite good, but the problem is, as we can see here, Ace Empress is only on 3 credits, and this is a deck that plays hard-hitting news and boom.
Yeah.
So there's a real worry there. Playing your big console, thankfully Nebula has managed to completely miss it, getting the Nebula flip off the petty cache, but otherwise no major punishment there for running a low credit total.
Yeah, the misdirection gives Ace Empress that sort of safety for sure, as much as it's going to be half your turn to clear the tags. I don't know in this format, mid-seasons doesn't seem to be a thing. Is that because runner money can be that explosive? But we see mid-season into boom as like a really simple setup combo that I haven't seen on any deck so far today.
Mid-season, yeah, it's hard to, runners have a lot of just very strong economy options between things like crowdfunding Temujin. Wizard doesn't make a lot of liquid cash, but like when you're trashing stuff, you just accumulate a lot of money from things like Desperado as well. So runners can just get a lot of money, and also just hard-hitting news is just kind of better. It's cheaper, it's more punishing, and it's something that you can combo then very nicely with stuff like Econ Warfare. So yeah, mid-seasons is just slightly not good enough. I think Oppo Research would probably see play instead, but yeah, I think that's why we're seeing hard-hitting news instead.
We got a tempo petty cache just to draw some cards, ice up R&D. Again, those central servers, you do want to make a successful run. I think we're assuming Critium Grid on HQ to prevent that successful flip back, and no agendas in sight so far, as much as we've gone through about a quarter of the Corp deck.
Yeah, this is not the position that Nebula really wants to be in. It wants to chain Astroscript now that they're 3x per deck, and once again,
here it
wants to just be able to. Oh, here we are.
Yeah, there you go. First Astroscript, no longer limit 1 per deck, the way it was at the original printing, and now there's a lot more pressure on Ace Empress, who has been sitting back for the last couple turns, just getting those sure gambles through, not able to fire Haley, but with all these events in hand, we'll see how quickly those siphons go through on the back of the big old boat. That Critium's a problem. You need to shut that down, not only for the endurance, but for the successful run, the flip. There are so many reasons why that run is important.
Yeah, I don't know now if this Haley deck is playing the kind of control variant where it just wants to play, say, stuff like Laguna and Pawn Shop and just make a bunch of money and gain a bunch of resources and then lock the opponent out of the game, or if it's going for like a much more aggressive siphon, trick shot, just good tempo, using endurance to get these good value off the run events. Ace Empress is just playing a little bit slow. Maybe like Ace Empress is happy to just let the game continue and eventually establish some kind of a lock. Maybe there's a lock package in the deck. We have a breaking news scored though.
With a click left. What's the punishment here?
1 click left. So I know Mezzy is a big fan of self-growth program.
Yeah, that huge returning the ship. That's the best way we used to be able to tackle this boat just a couple years ago. With no paidability window and a single click, there is a tag or 2 tags as much as boom is a double, so we can't weave that in. Just gonna be the self-growth, returning to hand. Undoing again, one of the most expensive cards you're expecting in this format. 8 credits, let alone the misdirection for the double install, giving maybe Haley some more double installs to work on the next turn.
Yeah, this is the risk that you run playing an endurance into this matchup, especially once you get that Astroscript and you can start tagging proactively. It just becomes a real concern for the runner to be able to like drop this and have it stick when Mezzi can just give the tags willy-nilly. Now Mezzi is debating whether or not she gets rid of the same old thing.
Yeah.
Just opting, I think, to draw a card there.
So at this point, the real fear is 24/7 news cycle into Boom is something that Mezzi can pop off on just about any turn for only, I think it's like 4 to 6 credits. I forget if 24/7 costs anything, probably 2. Which means that if you don't have the hard tag, it's totally free. Okay, just discard your Astro.
Free.
And I think Mezzi is definitely setting up here. So a pressure poke, HQ, IP block, cheap res on 2 credits. And while we don't have the tag anymore for 24/7 news cycle, only lasting the turn, Trace 3, it looks like we're not boosting. So Ace can pay 3 to find out what that Crisium Grid looks like.
Yeah, I think this is a tough spot to be in once you get to these. Paying the 5 to trash the Crisium is very unfortunate. You really want to keep your credits very liquid.
But Mezzi didn't misdirection. Right? Like that was a successful run. So we did get the flip back. So Mezzi looks confident with maybe what's in hand.
I think there could be the 24/7 Boom combo in hand.
Boom is trashable. That's something Ace knows, whether Ace wants to run back. But misdirection getting installed, no double install. Simul chip for a bit of recursion. Mezzi could have it here. Not protecting the HQ. Yeah. We'll see. Maybe the credit threshold mattered. Crisium Grid does cost 3 to res. And there we go. 24/7 as the start.
Yeah, here we are.
Going to fire the winnability text, and Boom will follow it up. So Boom not getting trashed in the 1 and 5. And Mezzi will take the flat line. Very fast game.
Very, very fast. Yeah, you just see the power. Like that's the versatility of AstroScript tokens is obviously you think of Astro Train where you score 1 and then you begin to just chain through each Astro paying for the next one. But the power of this deck is being able to go AstroScript, install breaking news and score breaking news with room to play tag punishment on that same turn. You see stuff like this in standard with Sansan City Grid or like naked install breaking news. But being able to just fast advance breaking news and still land tag punishment, just so powerful and just lets you set back runner tempo in such a huge way.
I don't know if you caught, or it was like 2 games ago where it was 24/7 news cycle to score or to fire the Bologna text to Boom. It was so good.
That was sick. That was sick as hell.
Yeah, that's my favorite thing about Eternal.
Never before seen footage.
Yeah, exactly. Like totally brand new sentences never uttered before by any living person. That's awesome. I'll love to see it. All right, let's jump over. We're going to flip the sides of the table. Now, Mezzi is on Andromeda. So we have a 9-card hand size. That's all the text on Andy. Besides, you do get a link, which can matter. We've seen a fair bit of IP blocks so far in the format. And one, it's again, Ace Empress, Nebula Talent Management, most of what we've seen today. This is Mezzi's on this sort of like Zamba D-Res package, which is not the most common deck in the format. We'll see if it has the time to like really spin up because you need to install a lot of cards, but it is a very scary setup, and Illumination might just help you get all those not expensive, but like kind of tricky cards to get on the table.
Yeah, I chatted with Mezzi a little bit after Elevation came out, and she'd been suggesting that Andromeda Illumination was just this really powerful engine. Obviously, there's a very clear combo.
Yeah.
But the issue is if you're just playing Reg Andy, what exactly are you doing? You're just getting your Amakuas and stuff out quicker. But actually being able to now get this really strong engine, which hasn't seen play in Eternal, because as you say, it's just too slow to get going. You have to install your Zambas, your Snitches, your Amakuas. Being able to just dump 3 parts of that engine in one go, really, really strong. And actually, I think this deck is very underexplored, and I'm very excited to see Mezzi piloted for the next couple of weeks.
We got a joke there, double Illumination turn 1, and we honestly could get it. The issue is whether we have the cards to install, and seeing a scarcity on top. While no current in hand, it does make sure if you want to get that same old thing down, maybe you'll try now. But we do have a credit disparity. Miss Bones, 12 credits. Maybe you're going to get some Crisiums out, but you always have to watch out for that turn 1 Oppo research. So we'll see if Mezzi needs to work towards that short gamble, which now is a bit out of reach.
Yeah, I'm interested. Obviously, this was Ace Empress's first week playing. Faye was on the bye last week, so we aren't 100% certain on if this is the same Nebula that we've been seeing or if it's slightly different. Mezzi just getting a quick
yo that's a generous undo after the Axis too.
Yeah, that is incredibly generous.
That's such a generous undo. So it looks like we're going to install less things, or more accurately, cheaper things. So now the Sure Gamble is playable.
Yes.
We talked about wanting to have high credits, so I do think that's the more definitely safe line.
It's definitely the play that makes sense if you take just a couple more seconds to think about your turn. But yeah, it's Mezzy just playing a little bit more careful. Seeing scarcity come down, not particularly pleasant, but once you've got you have all the resources that realistically you're going to need at this point. So scarcity I don't think is going to do too much in this board state, but who knows? We'll see. We'll see what Mezzy has left in the deck. We see an Au Revoir coming out as well, which is just huge.
Yeah,
another huge engine piece.
This is the Space Wine engine. Au Revoir, when you jack out, you get a credit. It's not unique, so you can get all three of these down. And then you have other cards like Snitch that allows you to jack out, Zamba, which gets exposed credits. And this all works together to make this absurd, 3-click per run, get an Amakua counter. It's a lot of pieces, and when it's up, it is prison. So the question is whether Ace Empress can use that Nebula flip sooner than Mezzy can get the setup.
Yeah, I think we saw this deck in action last week against Tauron's Asa deck.
Yeah.
And when this engine gets going, Amakua just gets supercharged, in one run gets you, once you have it all set up, gets you to, I think, 3 counters on Amakua on one click, which is just completely absurd. On 2 runs, 2 completely inconsequential runs, you're already able to break most of the ice in the format.
We're face judging a gold farmer. You can pay 6, but we generally don't want to here. So either an Amakua counter and then 4 credits, which is wild, or a boomerang. But server 1, we're going to chase down probably a Spin Doctor. It's actually just a table Rashida, which I don't know if you're expecting that. So maybe it tells you a bit about the hand. But you have trash, you have run. So Ampo research is definitely online, let alone hard-hitting news.
I can't remember if Ace Empress mulliganed or not.
It was a big cutoff on the stream, so I don't know if we know.
Okay. So yeah, I think it is possible that maybe the hand, maybe HQ, pardon me, is just doesn't have the ice that gear check ice that you need, these IP blocks and data ravens and slot machines to put your Rashidas behind. Mezzy's after finding an employee strike, which is huge in this matchup.
This is influence and pointed, turns off the corpse ability, turns off scarcity resources as well, but this will stop the fast advance tricks, so Nebula could be stuck in the stadium mode, but getting no real benefit from it, which is kind of fascinating. We've seen way more tempo petty cash in Nebula in Eternal than you do in Standard, just because there's enough events, you don't have to score to 7. Just using that to get a click and 2 credits is good enough, as much as that's such a precious resource if you're playing Nebula in Standard.
Yeah, you've ways of because this deck is able to rush out pretty effectively because it has that hard-hitting news threat. That obviously Nebula and Standard doesn't have. It means that you can afford to just burn a petty cash just for pure value, because you can rely on your ice to push through your Astra scripts and your breaking news and stuff.
Count Siphon in. This one does not access, just a 15 credit swing attached to 2 tags. And this turning wheel, it's a bit quiet. It's been there since turn 1, but every run on Centrals, even if it's not successful, you'll get that counter, or specifically if it's not, you're getting an agenda. And those now translate 2 to 1, sort of the same way, as much as the timing is different than the turning wheel, or sorry, the twinnings that you might be used to.
Yeah, this is kind of the boomer twinning, I guess. It was the old school runner Wincom where you can just sit back and passively charge it.
Bounce farmer.
Having Gold Farmer on HQ,
it's a liability.
Rough.
Yeah,
because if the game goes long enough, Mezzy will just be able to bounce off Gold Farmer 4 times a turn and charge up the turning wheel, and then eventually just go, yeah, I'm going to access most of R&D now and hopefully win the game.
You're properly farming, which is as Gold Farmer intended. Looks like Ace Empress missed the power, the ability on Petty Cash to start a turn before you take an action. So that's an easy undo. Again, nothing learned. So now, again, we still are going to flip Nebula. We're going to flip back. So we will get the credit and force Gamelang. Looks like a remote survey is coming down. 1 boomerang was expended, and Amakua is going to come into 1 strength. So you are going to struggle, let alone with IP block, going to be a problem for the turtle. This is the thing, is how late do you install the Amakua knowing there'd be multiple IP blocks? And as soon as you have an Amakua, you can't trace your way through the IP block because you get that AI tag. So the end the run subroutine is alive and well.
Yeah, it's This is, as far as I know, I don't think Mezzi is playing any barrier breakers either. So until the engine gets going, this Almakua is basically blank. It's not going to be doing much breaking of ice. You can charge off archives to get through the gold farmer, at least start trying to get accesses, but you don't want to be spending 4 credits a turn to charge your Almakua.
Yo, single advance means a single advance into boom next turn can threaten 7 damage here if this is breaking news. Otherwise, a slow roll Bologna. Again, being confident against a single ice against a criminal is not something I'm used to in the standard format, but here in Eternal, it's definitely doing it's making Mezzi pause.
I mean, it's the same as it was in standard with decks like Argus. Like, I think this Nebula deck is very, very similar to the old Argus decks, where yes, they're just rushing by into a single piece of ice. But if you make the wrong call, it could be HHN boom. Yeah.
We get a Data Raven, so you're going to take a tag no matter what if you don't want to bounce, and then there's a trace, so it looks like Mezzi just wants to walk away. Now, dropping ace to 4 credits is actually, I think, 1 credit short of advance into boom, but Count Siphon's going to make that even further away from reality.
Yeah, this is a pretty good Siphon. It does leave you pretty tagged, but it is going to mean the corp is completely broke. You do need to pace manually through the gold farmer, but I think this is completely worth it. 2
tags in, 15 credits, Asympress left with nothing. Nebula flip back as well. If you do have those cheap operations, you can maybe weave a credit in there. Credit your digital life. I don't think we see a lot of predictive planogram in the format.
There is one thing that you do have access to is subliminal messaging, which is copies 4 to 6 basically of petty cash. But it looks like Asympress is just clicking for credits manual mode here.
The 2 Siphons out, turning wheel, not the pressure. Whether you want to decide to go through the Data Raven and float tags is a bit scary. If as much as you could turning wheel HQ and try and sweep the booms. I have no idea how many booms is the deck playing. Would you imagine 2?
I think it's just 1.
Whoa.
Because I know the deck also plays some number of seamless launch as well.
Okay.
So I'm not sure if it has the room for 2 booms or if it's doing the boom conviz kind of package. I think, 3 seamless would be 6. I know there's Chrysiums, and then you have boom as well. I'm not sure what else it's spending influence on.
Mezzi is checking archives. We don't get to see all the cards in there. Mind you, this is a replay review, so we can't dive into it. But we did see the extra scarcity being thrown out. So now with 1 counter, we can pressure HQ. You also can farm the gold farmer a bit. You just don't have enough clicks to get an even amount of counters that matters. But we'll see if we dump the turning wheel here to try and sniff out a boom. Holy break, it costs you twice as much as you think it does. There's an Astro, not using the turning wheel. Going to chat, maybe Mezzi wanted to. Again, the timing on the turning wheel is totally different than what you play in standard, where you have to use the counter at paid ability speed before you breach. It's very strange, yeah. Meant to sweep a turning wheel in chat makes sense. That's a hard thing to fix. But Class Act giving you more cards in hand, so you do survive a boom here. Actually, are we on 6 cards? Oh, you don't survive a boom.
No, you're 1 short.
The money is going to be the problem. If Ace needs an econ trick here.
I don't think Ace needs an econ trick. Well, petty cat. Well,
yeah, that'll do it. An immediate cut to black is kind of comical, but that was petty cash for 2 credits into boom. 2 tags is unfortunately 1 tag too many, and Class Act is 1 card too few. Well played.
Very, very well played. Yeah, it's a little bit unfortunate there with the turning wheel timing. It is really awkward. It doesn't work quite the same as twinning. You do need to preempt the access.
And Mezzi could have found the boom there. That's so unfortunate.
Yeah, the boom could have been and maybe the boom was on the top of R&D. Maybe it was just an absolutely godly top deck. But yeah, very well played.
Yeah.
Shame the engine couldn't get up and running. I think this matchup is just a little bit too fast for the Snitch engine
to
get going.
Yeah. Well played to both. Exciting games.
Well played.
All right, we're jumping into our last matchup of the evening. So let me see what we are pulling up here. So it looks like this is Dungeon Mixer versus City. So it looks like we're gonna look at Cabanessa. This is Gagarin. What kind of Gagarin was? Yeah.
Beg your pardon. Did we do Asympress and Mezzi? The flip side?
Did we not?
We did. We did. Right. You're so right.
Yeah, I think we did. Yeah. No, you got me. You got me too. I was like, I thought we did. Okay. All right, so this is the matchup. Gagarin, the text is one of the very strong Wayland Acid Spam identities. Why are we only playing 49? So I'm not expecting any sort of Museum of History type stuff. It does cost an extra credit to touch a card in a remote server, and that is on a per card basis. Now, I don't think that's going to be lining up really well with Dungeon Mixter, who definitely wants to apocalypse the entire world, including all of space. So it's really up to City to create a problem. I don't know if we're going to see like a hostile architecture res that makes the APOC absolutely lethal, but we'll see what the tech looks like here.
Yeah, so I think your plan into Gagarin. So Wu is basically just going to completely ignore what Gagarin is doing. Gagarin has more like blank text in this matchup. I think Gagarin's plan is, unless if they're not playing specific tech like hostile infrastructure, then I think your best bet is trying to get a Hortum triple advanced on R&D, and that
right on.
more or less shuts down the combo.
Do you know if people are teching in Hush at this point just to be able to deal with some of the more tricky ice, or we'll see if that develops?
People should be. I don't think people are yet, though, but I think they absolutely should be, just to deal with stuff like that. And Architect is the other big one.
Yeah, Hortum for the uninitiated with triple advancements, it cannot be broken by AI, and I believe this deck exclusively has an AI breaker, specifically Faust, making that deal with, the devil to trash cards from hand to break subs. We're starting with the Cabanessa Wu Classic. We're just going to get cards out of our deck, credits in the credit pool, get all of them coalescences out. Again, each of these installs, they will only last the turn, and they're all +3 credits if you don't get it deeper with Sherazade and all that other sort of combo stuff. But this is pretty straightforward, straight to 14.
Yeah, just moneying up. I think with the hand you have obviously the Leprechaun here. I think Dungeon Mixter is just going to pick up the Hyperdriver here just to keep it on the board. And the next turn we'll probably see the Leprechaun come down, get the other 2 Hyperdrivers. The big thing that's missing though at the moment is the ritual that you need to kickstart the combo. So at some point we're going to need to see, or Wu is going to need to see, start just getting through its deck to find the key card of the combo.
It's really cool to see the cards from Elevation that have been so impactful between this Eternal Super League and last year, and Ritual, which unfortunately I don't have the card out for you today, but it does get a click for every, or a card draw for every click you have left. Double Urban Renewal. We've seen this deck combo out as soon as turn 3. Do you think the Urban Renewal even has the chance to fire?
It's if the draws are not good enough for Dungeon Mixter, if the rituals are, and we did see it, I think last week, I think actually with Dungeon Mixter, the rituals were just buried right at the bottom of the deck. If the draw order is a little bit unlucky, we could see the Urban Renewals tick down. And the problem is you kind of need to trash both. You're a combo deck, you need pieces in hand, and you kind of don't want to trash one and let the other fire, because if it ends up hitting a key combo piece, you could be out of luck.
They're also perfectly in sync, right? So it's not like you can deal with one, deal with the other. Like they go off the same turn, and that will be lethal for the Shaper player. Now, Leprechaun down, MU doesn't count. We're going to start pulling cards from the deck, and then the Ritual is really important. We're going to get the cards out of our deck before we start drawing, because these Hyperdrivers, you can pop them off for the combo turn, or even in a panic, if you just need to not die next turn, you will fire them, of course.
Yeah, I think you don't need to worry too much. You can let one fire, or you can pop one Hyperdriver if you need it for drawing. Popping 2 is when it gets risky, and then you start to run out of clicks for your combo turn. But yeah, I think you can afford to pop one just for a setup. And Gagarin's not a quick deck either. It is slow to actually win the game. Now, as it happens, 2 Urban Renewals is a pretty quick way. And I think Dungeon Mixter is saying, with 3 credits left, I think they're basically saying, I will combo out before your Urban Renewals tick down to kill me.
Is it not this turn?
Is it?
When does Urban fire? Is it not a start a turn trigger?
No, Urban's going to fire. This is
lethal?
Unless I'm missing something.
Wait, this can't be right. Oh yeah, the last click should have been to trash an Urban. Yeah, I think they're realizing it. So Dungeon Mixter realizes, the Urbans are going to go off here. When they lose their last counter, they pop. So you have to run back. The problem is actually Dungeon's short a credit. The Gagarin text makes this a 4 trash cost card. So Dungeon actually can't even trash this card.
Yeah, I don't, unless Yeah, I think Dungeon is actually realizing that
Oh yeah,
they
not
would
enough
need to
credits. Yeah,
undo
you have to undo the
2
card draw,
clicks.
which is not very possible. Oh, unfortunately, Dungeon in chat saying this was, I think, the worst misplay of my entire career. Oh, it feels so bad. I'm
Oh,
so sorry.
that's so unfortunate.
But it looks like Gagarin's going to get it there with a double Urban Renewal for 8 damage. A clean sweep is going to knock out most runner hands. And unfortunately, Cabanessa Wu not finding the rituals fast enough, and the combo will just pop. You get 2 credits on the way down. That's kind of cool, but well played.
That's yeah. That strike fund, though, that unionized workforce going to good use.
Yeah. City saying, I thought I'm dead. I mean, like, I don't want to sit across from that combo deck. I also would be quite scared, but perfect turn 1 double Urban Renewal is the fastest you can present that threat. So well played to both players. Heartbreaking, unfortunately.
Yeah.
They're for 1 credit short,
Yeah,
1 click short.
that's a rough one. You definitely think that I think if Dungeon Mixer had realized with the credit, with the Gagarin tax and everything,
Yeah.
maybe dealing with one of those urbans would have given them enough time to set up the rest of the combo so that they can then like go ahead APOC the board. Especially with no econ assets, it didn't look like Gagarin was going to have a chance to get that triple advanced Whoredom on R&D. So yeah, it's it's definitely unfortunate, but I guess we forgot what a lot of these cards do. They've been rotated for so long.
No, but like, any sort of competition, you make these mistakes, you got to pick yourself up for the next game. You never make the same mistake twice.
Sure.
So yeah, well played to both. All right, we have our last game of today, and this is a weird one for sure, I imagine. I love this matchup. These are IDs we saw a fair bit in the ESL last year or last season, right? So Essa, we're going to take core damage to do some sabotage. Cerebral Imaging, on the other hand, has hand size equal to CI's credit pool. So I think, do we know which sort of a CI combo Dungeon Mixer is playing?
I believe we did see it last week, and it's gone out of my mind. I think it's the Big Deal combo.
Cool. So we're going to be scoring out as much as Essa sometimes has less cards in hand for certain kill combos, or sometimes Marrow just makes full safety.
Yeah, this is a really weird matchup. Essa normally, the sabotage works really well as like a mill technique, but because CI draws so many cards and it's such a large hand size, it can kind of afford to just kind of blank the effectiveness of sabotage. It's really weird.
Ooh, Clan Vengeance setup though, and we have the money to pay for most of this. So Clan Vengeance, a pointed card. Whenever you take damage, it gets a counter, and at instant speed, you can disassemble the corporation's hand. No respecting for Chistushka. I'm not sure if that's the most common thing. We'll see what the Essa setup is. If you get the Clan Vengeance on the table, you can't play the Sure Gamble after, but it looks like we're going to commit to the Banhar and the Titanium Ribs, going down to, well, now with the Strike Fund, not 0 credits.
Yeah, this is kind of, I think, as close to an ideal start.
Yo, that's sick. Yeah. Not having to do the Sure Gamble. Ripping through now. We still have 3 clicks left after the running card. Again, all damage now is chosen by the runner. And it looks like the sabotage is a bit hard to read, but it was 1 from HQ, 1 from R&D. We'll try and keep tabs on that. Oh my God. What a turn 1.
Oh, sick rips.
Let's go. Luminal, 1 of per deck. Still finding play here in the CI deck. So we're going to have to steal 2 more agendas. We're assuming Vacheron is the one you want to pick up from archives if that's in play. But Corporate Hospitality opening up those sabotage cards as more options for your toolbox.
Yeah, this is kind of a great start for Essa here, for CD Row. Finding the Clan Vengeance early. Clan Vengeance is a weird card against CI. You kind of just...
Yeah.
Normally, you're just playing the count to 5 game. Not so much here.
Yeah, how big can it get?
Yeah, how do you want to keep it going bigger? Do you want to just pop it off a suit, like, let it sit for a while?
Yo, tempo Mad Dash.
This is a really good start.
Mad Dash, if it whips, you don't mind because you just take the meat damage anyways. FCOM in HQ, we're on 4 points. You can just Mad Dash for tempo here, hit a 2-pointer win, another FCOM, but any damage is good damage when you have a Clan Vengeance on the table.
Yeah, I think this is, I kind of feel, City Row playing it a little bit, just slightly more conservatively. I think I personally would have just gone for the Mad Dash on HQ. You don't really lose out on anything.
Yeah. You pick the damage.
Die to a kill. Yeah, and you can just like throw away a same old thing, whatever. It's not the end of the world.
Yo, we are so zoomed out here. We have so much space for Rumor Mill. And Dungeon Mixer
Please
just
enjoy this
drawing
wonderful
up.
art.
Yeah. 4 credits. Now we're getting the second Clan Vengeance. So we have the ability to blow up most of the hand and just run archives. So Sabotage 2 there, installing our Ghost Tongue. We'll see where the damage comes from again. We'll read the small text. We did throw out the Mad Dash, unfortunately. But this is now 4 cards we can enter archives. And these are random raindrops. It's 2 cards from HQ sabotaged. Vacheron, unfortunately from HQ, is now like the legitimate ticking time bomb.
Yeah, it's realistically, it's not going. Vacheron was obviously very strong in standard.
Yeah.
It's even stronger in Eternal, where some turns, some games don't even last 4 turns. But yeah, this is just pure aggression from Essa. Finding an FCOM as well, which is like a key combo piece, is pretty massive as well. It's in addition to just going down on points, you don't necessarily mind the points, but you probably do mind the lack of combo potential. And yeah, Dungeon Mixer is just drawing cards, trying to get set up so that eventually they will be able to, I think, probably do a CI7 combo or CI 5+2.
Yeah.
In kind of modernly. But yeah, it's not a great start for CI.
All you have to do here is not lose. You have to survive 3 more turns, which is hard. Spin Doctor was used for Spin Doctor. So there's either nothing in archives, let alone we can control it. While we do have a keyhole, we have no breakers. And here, at a minimum, you just want to get Clan Vengeance counters every single turn to make sure you can disassemble the combo. But just playing the sure gamble, getting up a couple more cards here. Now Dungeon Mixer is prepped to do something wild with 14 cards in hand. And oh, that Rumor Mill, you might ask for an action here and check archives. You could just win the game.
Yeah, this could be. I think you just slam Rumor Mill.
Yeah, rip Clan Vengeance.
Clan Vengeances.
Run archives. GG. Is it that simple today? Rumor Mill, mind you, blanks all unique cards, or not ice cards.
You could if you wanted. I think, do you have the... Okay, you don't quite have the clicks. I was going to say you could do Rumor Mill, same old thing, and then deal a little bit extra damage to yourself with the Running Hot.
Yeah, you have to do it in the other order. You can still do it, because you know you won't take the damage into the Rumor Mill because of the Titanium Ribs.
That's true.
Yeah, that's it.
I guess for me, I like to play the Rumor Mill as quickly as possible to or not quickly in terms of speed, but just in terms of time in the turn, because you don't want to give the corp windows to respond to their stuff getting blanked.
And like, I'm so sympathetic for City here, drawing the Rumor Mill and waiting for a bit, and you still feel like you need to ask for action, asking for action. So now the Rumor Mill, you can play guilt-free to blank the Spin Doctor.
Yeah.
Very kind. So it looks like we're just going to pop one and kind of split the difference, run archives. A Vacheron in here will be game. Cyberdex Fire Suite, nothing else. We see an IQ on the top, but that's just a Mavirus and neutral. All right, Brain Cage drawn up. Spin Doctor keeping work there. So we see we lost a Nano and a Biotic, so we're full combo. They're an Arc Lockdown. And then everything else is not too big of a deal. Corporate Hospitality for a bit of recursion.
Yeah, I think the main thing it seems like Dungeon is looking for is ice. Now, again, you don't need to worry about protecting HQ necessarily. You do probably want to protect against stuff like Chostushka. But so far, there's no sign of it. I think this deck does prefer to just use this as a Clan Vengeance delivery vehicle. You're only 1 turn away from winning.
Yeah.
I don't think Zero really needs to do all that.
No, you just need to run HQ. You need to touch things. You need to dismantle combos. The damage is good here with Clan Vengeance. But yeah, if you can survive this turn, Dungeon Mixer on 19 credits with 13 cards in hand, I think can do a combo. The question is whether Rumor Mill matters. Single access Shim for Mirmorth, you hate to see that. Big combo piece installs 3 cards for a single click. So it's now do or die from Dungeon Mixer.
Yeah, you need to find a way to combo 7 points. You can do 5 in a turn, but you typically, the way these decks like to win is scoring an FCOM first, and then on a later turn scoring 5 points. And yeah, we're just going to see the Clan Vengeance popped just to try and get rid of any potential chance of there being any good combo cards left in HQ.
Yeah, that's it's an interesting one because I don't know the combo lines well. So Dungeon Mixer just saying GG, whether a card was lost to the Clan Vengeance. Sometimes you want to wait until they do half the combo, and when they have fewer cards in hand, it's more targeted. But City just ripping it from such great heights. Playing this on a drive-in theater screen, it looks like, but just getting there, enough damage, enough pressure, such a turn one. That was a wild turn one. Well played.
Yeah, it's kind of the best turn one you could ask for it. This kind of disruptive aggro deck is that you get your titanium ribs, your kind of your little engine going. You're able to get some setup at running hot, and then on top of that, you get one of the most powerful agendas in the game, a key combo piece or a key tempo piece for this deck. And then just Dungeon just didn't find, it looks like the pieces needed to combo out. You kind of need to find your wage workers, your shipment from Mirrormorphs and shipment from Sands and stuff. So clearly just didn't find the pieces that they needed. But well played to both players. Like that shows you the power that exists within the Eternal format and just how blistering games can go.
Yeah, it's really scrappy games. And before we look at the final standings again, this is 9 weeks of Eternal. This is the end of week 2. We will be back next weekend. And just Anarcho, I think you'll know better than I will. Players are allowed to change their decks, but it's at a certain checkpoint. Is it every 3 weeks?
Yeah, so next week will be the last week of these decks being played. After that, so from week 4 till 6, you'll see it will be the launch of phase 2. Players will then get to change their deck lists. And the interesting thing that we get into phase 2 is players will know who they're playing against. They'll have seen what those people are playing. And then they can start to make more targeted meta reads. And you saw this last season where you started to see players,
it gets weird.
Their opponents would be playing and would tech for them and bring completely. I think we started to see stuff like Mati make a big increase because people knew that their opponents would be on World Tree Woo. You might see you might see stuff like IG come up if you're playing against these combo Woo decks because it does all these net damage pings and it's a natural predator for these kind of combo decks. So yeah, next week, last week for these decks, and then we'll have phase 4 to kick off. Or phase 2 to kick off week 4.
Is Vantage Point going to be legal at some point?
TBD.
Okay, cool.
What we will say on that. Me and Wowerlock have talked about it a little bit. I think we're yet to come up with a final decision, but we will let the players and the spectators know with ample time.
Awesome. All right. This is our standings at the end of week 2. And again, these standings are a bit more volatile than they look because out of these 9 weeks, we only see 8 games. And that's because every week someone has a bye week. So the 2 bye weeks so far, Augustus Caesar had this bye week off. Can you confirm who had the bye week last week? I believe I had it wrong.
It was Ascentris. So this was Ascentris' first week.
Cool. So both of those players are at a disadvantage in terms of games played. So they know they're going to have, 7 straight weeks in a row to come back. So every player will have the bye week. They don't get a win for the bye. They just sit out. So it will be even after all. Off 15-15, currently on 12 points. If I've done my math, hasn't dropped a game so far. Phenomenal. Followed by Tehran, our champion from last season, on 9. And then the spread goes down from there. But we have so much longer to go. This is just the beginning. And again, the decks do change and swap up. And we get that Yomi space just in a week and a half from now. So going to be really exciting. Eternal Super League is always just kind of the coolest to watch.
Yeah, it's been great, and it's been really fun to see the fresh faces into the league as well. There's some really brand new ideas, the meta developing as well. I'm very interested to see how much prevalence Combo Woo sees over the phases. Are we going to see more players pick it up? It certainly looks like it is the best deck to be playing in Eternal right now. I don't think it has dropped a game yet. It's certainly, barring, I think, the game against Gagarin there, I don't think we've seen Combo Woo lose on stream yet, which is...
That might be true.
Just ridiculous.
Yeah. Huge force. Everyone's on very similar lists, which does make it an easy call to call if you need to tech into it. The question is, how do you tech in it, and do they see you coming? But that's a problem for 2 weeks from now, I reckon.
Absolutely. Can't wait.
With that, this has been week 2 of the Eternal Super League. My name has been Andre Anarcho. Thanks so much for joining me.
Been a pleasure. I hope everybody enjoyed it.
We'll be back just next Sunday, same time, same place. If you want to subscribe to the channel, you want to leave a like, all the VOD, all that sort of stuff helps. If you have any questions about Eternal Super League, please leave your comments on YouTube, and some nice person from the ESL will get back to you. But until then, enjoy the rest of your Sunday, enjoy the rest of your week, and we'll see you in a week. Take care, y'all.
We will actually, before we sign off, just very quickly, we'll actually be starting an hour earlier from next week onwards.
Damn,
these first 2 weeks were just an hour later than normal, but next week we'll be back to the quote unquote usual time that we had last year of 7 p.m. So tune in an hour earlier. Otherwise,
Very cool.
all the same details.
Hit the notify button.
Shout out again as well to Mezzi's Eternal Tournament Series as well, the AstroScript delivery service.
Yeah, very cool.
That's next Saturday. If you're interested in Eternal, get involved. I know I am planning on being involved with that because it looks really awesome, and I'd like to see some sort of Eternal AMTs, as it were.
Very cool. Well, then we'll see you slightly sooner in just a week. We'll see you then.